The day Judith Halbrook told me to leave my own home, she did not even look me in the eye. We were sitting at the polished oak dining table in our large suburban house in Cedar Ridge, Colorado. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, lighting up the expensive chandelier that I had personally paid for. Judith folded her manicured hands and spoke in that sweet, syrupy tone she used whenever she was about to stab someone politely. "Savannah and Derek need space," she said. "They are ready to start a family. This house is perfect for them. You can find a small apartment closer to your office." She said it as if I were a guest who had overstayed her welcome. My husband, Colton Pierce, sat beside her in complete silence. He stared at his phone. Not once did he defend me. Not once did he remind his mother, who had been covering the mortgage, utilities, insurance, groceries, and even Derek's failed landscaping business loan. I cleared my throat. "So you want me to move out?" Judith smiled. "You do not have children yet, it makes sense. Family comes first, family." That word burned. What Judith did not know was that I was the one paying $6,600 every single month to keep that house running. The mortgage alone was $4,100, property taxes $900, utilities $600, insurance and maintenance another $1,000, not including groceries and the quiet financial help we had been giving Savannah and Derek for 2 years. Colton had lost his tech sales job 8 months earlier. I never told his mother. I covered everything to protect his pride. And this was how I was repaid. That night, I did not cry, I did not argue. I simply went into our bedroom, opened my laptop, and scheduled movers for 9 a.m. If they wanted the house, they could have it. The next morning, when Judith arrived with Savannah to measure the nursery room, she froze. Movers were carrying out the sectional sofa, the dining set, the artwork, the custom rugs, the washer and dryer, even the patio furniture. Savannah blinked. "What is happening?" I smiled calmly. "I am moving out." "Just like you asked." Judith's face tightened. "You cannot take everything." I looked at her directly. Everything in this house was purchased under my name. Every receipt, every transfer, every warranty. Colton walked in from the garage, pale. "Leela, what are you doing?" I handed him a printed folder. Inside were copies of bank statements, mortgage documents, utility bills, loan agreements, all under my name. "You wanted me gone," I said softly. "I am making it easier for everyone." Savannah's voice cracked. "But we cannot move in without furniture? That is unfortunate." Judith's composure began to crumble. "Wait, the mortgage is in your name?" "Yes. And if I am not living here, I will not be paying $6,600 a month for a house I am not allowed to live in." The silence that followed was louder than any scream. Colton whispered, "Mom, you said Dad set up the mortgage." Judith turned toward him, her confidence gone. "I thought he did." "He did not." I watched realization dawn across their faces like a slow storm rolling in. Without my payments, foreclosure would begin in 3 months. Without my credit, they could not refinance. Without my income, Savannah and Derek could not afford even the property taxes. Suddenly, I was no longer invisible. Judith's voice trembled. "We can talk about this." I nodded. "We can," but I did not stop the movers. By noon, the house echoed. And for the first time in years, I felt powerful. But what happened next, none of us expected. That evening, I checked into a downtown high-rise apartment I had quietly leased months ago. Something inside me had known this day might come. At 7 p.m. my phone exploded with calls. Colton, Judith, Savannah, even Derek. I let them ring. At 9 p.m. there was a knock at my new apartment door. Colton stood there, looking smaller than I had ever seen him. "We are in trouble," he admitted. I stepped aside but did not invite him in fully. He remained near the entrance, as if unsure whether he still belonged in my life. The bank called. The mortgage payment did not process. Of course it did not. I had canceled auto-pay that morning. "Mom thought you were exaggerating," he said. "She did not realize you were covering everything." I crossed my arms. "Did you?" He could not answer. The truth settled between us. For years, I had worked 60-hour weeks managing corporate risk for a medical supply firm. I built savings, investments, stability. Colton built excuses. Judith built entitlement, and I built their comfort. Colton ran a hand through his hair. "If the house goes into default, Mom loses everything." I studied him carefully. "And what do I lose?" He swallowed. The next day, Judith called requesting a meeting. Her tone was completely different now. She did not sit at the head of the table this time. She sat beside me. "We misunderstood," she said carefully. "You are part of this family." I let the silence stretch. Savannah's eyes were red from crying. Derek looked terrified. I placed a single document on the table, a separation agreement. I am not your tenant, I said calmly. I am not your ATM, and I am certainly not disposable. Colton's face drained of color. If I return, I said, the house transfers fully into my name. Only my name. Savannah and Derek pay rent if they live there. And no one makes decisions about my life again. Judith stared at the paper as if it were written in fire. You would take the house from us. No, I corrected gently. I would protect what I paid for. The room was silent for a long time. Finally, Colton spoke. Sign it, Mom. That was the moment everything truly shifted, not because I won, but because they finally understood my worth. 3 weeks later, the house deed was legally transferred. Savannah and Derek rented a smaller townhouse. Judith stopped giving orders. And Colton began job hunting with a seriousness I had never seen before. As for me, I kept my apartment, because power feels different when you earn it. And I will never again allow someone to forget exactly who is holding the foundation together. Sometimes the loudest move you can make is quietly packing everything you own.